all you really have to do is make sure that they don't nuke you. So if they do go the Frost Armor, wait a bit until you hit the Berserk button to do this. But if you do have Berserkers, they do so much more damage. It's a 75 gold upgrade, especially in Kiwi's position because he had so much money by the end of that game. It's ridiculous. He could have used that just to upgrade a few of his units, maybe get a little more diversity. I don't know. If it was me, I would have, gone to Tier 3 just to get all of those upgrades. And also, it's good to have a third hero. If you do have something like a Pit Lord, you can always make sure that since they're reducing most of your damage output with the Frost Armor and the Curse, you can always reduce theirs with one Howl of Terror. And also, if you're undead, you are allowed to use that as well. It's always an option instead of the Dreadlord. All you will lose is the ability to sleep things. Also, a great thing that I've seen, if they do end up doing the Mass Air and they overwhelm you with the Wind Riders above the Fiends, a great thing to do if you do go Dreadlord 3rd is to go Carrion Swarm instead, because a lot of times air units will really clump up, and then you can just Nova and Carrion them, and Carrion does a lot of damage, and it has huge range, so you can really hit anything above trees anyways. All you have to do is make sure that you saw them go one way. Like if you Nova them, and they start flying over trees, all you have to do is click the area in which they ran over, and you can carry them through the trees, and it really becomes a bitch. Also, a downside to this whole Banshee strategy is the fact that you won't be able to go Destros because you're spending a lot more money on the fact that you have more damage output than them, and the fact that you're reducing their damage output. So you won't really have any massive counter to things such as casters. Like if you do go Tier 3 and you start getting Bloodlust, even if they have one Destroyer to immediately counter, they devour once, and then you have like another 5 seconds to cast a whole bunch of Bloodlust and focus down that Destroyer, that it kind of becomes a pain for the undead. So as an Orc player, if you do see them doing this, good thing to invest in is upgrading your casters to, I guess, Master Training Shaman or Master Trained Spirit Walkers, and get a whole bunch of Ancestral Spirit going. If you do invest in Tauren, or if you're losing a bunch of Spirit Walkers quickly, you can get a lot more Dispel. You can get the Spirit Link, which is great, because they won't have the ability to Dispel it. So all you really have to do is hit R on a bunch of units, like R-click them, and you got your Spirit Link going, unless your hotkeys are different. I don't know. I kept the standard hotkeys, BT-dub. But yeah, all you really have to do is Spirit Link all of your units, and then go, oh no, it's weak. I should take a break from my MSNing and use a healing scroll. And all you really have to do at that point is worry about focus firing certain units and worry about your positioning and their positioning, I guess, so you can benefit from that. And also, if you do see them doing this, beware that they can grow Necromancers, which is one thing that I love to do. Unholy Frenzy on like a Crypt Lord, or I guess a Pit Lord, or a Death Knight is really beautiful as an undead player, but really scary as like an Orc player. It's like Bloodlust, except they kind of lose a bit of, HP here and there. If you do use the what is that, anti-magic shell on your hero and then use Unholy Frenzy, they don't really lose any damage, and it's a lot more beneficial, or they don't lose any HP, and it's a lot more beneficial for your heroes because A, they're a lot less easy to nuke, B, you're doing so much more damage to them that it's completely ridiculous. So in the end, you just end up benefiting from it. Also, Cripple, kind of expensive to use as undead, and by expensive I mean mana-wise. So even though Cripple is there to upgrade, I only upgrade it so that I can use a whole bunch of skeletons. And I don't mass skeletons, I just kind of use them so that composure. Okay, so that I don't have to continue buying Rods of Necromancy, and that way you can use Dark Ritual over and over and over again. Also, as the undead player, the fact that you're not going Destros means that you don't really have to worry about their stupid mass Wind Rider thing as much. If you do go Destros, that's one thing you have to worry about, because you won't have as much money to invest in Fiends, which is your anti-air, or I guess orbs for your heroes. So you really don't have to worry about their mass damage outputting you. And if they do, they have so many, like, the Wind Riders are so weak, you'll have so much web that you can use, especially if you do set up an expo, you'll be able to outmass them because A, Fiends have a lot less food cost, and B, they're cheaper to make. And I guess C, they do a lot of damage to Wind Riders, and they take, I guess, a bit less from them. But also, you won't have to invest in gargoyles, which is a pretty sweet counter in the fact that they can go bats and kill you. So all you have to do is, wait for them to attack you and then laugh at them while they die. It's pretty much the easiest thing to do, is attack move everywhere, and every time a Wind Rider pops up anywhere, it just kind of dies. It's free EXP for you, and I haven't seen anybody win with the mass Wind Rider thing against me. One thing I have tried is to go Dark Ranger first, and some guy bitched at me for Undead Imbalance or something when I did this. I guess, I don't know. He hasn't had a good time against the Undead players, but I found that Dark Ranger will allow you to actually Necro Wagon them, which is pretty much hilarious. The fact that you have a whole bunch of these dark minions and about billions of skeletons just running everywhere. It's kind of funny. It's also a pretty sweet hero to have, because if they do end up going Dispel, you can just silence them, and they're screwed. They won't have the Dispel to get it off of them because, well, they don't have Dispel because it's silenced. And you'll have all these skeletons that are running about killing them. And if you do get the Master Train upgrade, you can focus down their stupid Spirit Walkers pretty quickly, and they just die. And then if you put your Dark Ranger in that group, you get an extra skeleton from it. And then also with this, you have your massive dark minions that have about 1 billion HP and cost like 8 mana each, that you can use your Dark Ritual on it and gain like your entire Lich's health back and just Nova the crap out of everything. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of sweet, and I love it. So that's something to try. Varying up your hero combinations is always a good thing to do, especially if you're in league matches, because if you use the same hero combo and the same army composition and playstyle, it becomes so much easier to counter. The thing is, if you stick to one race, you really have to make sure that you're not doing the same strategy again. And with random, you have to know at least 2 strategies for each race matchup, I guess, because if you don't, and you get the same race twice in a row, it becomes really easy to counter you. So I'm going to get into that in my next audio. Maybe not my next, but eventually I will get into it, and it will be good times. I'm going to end the audio. Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'll see you guys later.